Next, I would like to introduce Arthurene Cardwell from the Red Cross. Arthurene? Praise of God.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know we've heard a lot of information, but I've got just a little bit more for you, okay? Here at the American Red Cross, we have a immunohematology reference laboratory where we are able to test the blood that is donated and identify the rare donors and help with the patient samples that we receive from the hospitals. We do the ABO-RH testing to determine what type the blood is, and we do testing for the absence or the presence of specific markers on the red cells. Excuse me. We identify and we also help to match blood for patients with special needs. Of the ABO type frequencies, you can see that type O is the most prevalent, followed by type A, then type B, and then AB. Type O is the universal red cell donor and the most requested because everyone can receive type O blood, no matter what your blood type is. The Hispanic, American Indian, and African Americans have more O blood types than any other population. Now, testing for the specific red cell markers, as you can see, besides the ABO-RH, there are big C, little c, big E, little e, and I didn't know what the alphabet was until I was in college, in blood bank class, and it's like, well, what is this now? Here we go with something else. I understood kind of ABO, but now here's something else. On our red cells, there are additional antigens, and these additional antigens are what causes reactions when patients get different blood transfusions, and then they create antibodies to the antigens that they didn't have, and here we go. Sickle cell disease affects more than 80,000 people. As we heard earlier, that number is closer to 100,000 in the U.S., and 90% of those are African American. So that's us. The special markers, as you see the little pictures here, person A, on the right, has different red cell markers on their cells. Person B on the left does not. Go to the next slide. When person A donates blood to someone who does not have those markers, there's something that can happen. We initially help the individual, but in helping them, we're also creating another problem. That recipient of that unit of special red cell markers that they did not have, they create antibodies to those red cell markers. You see by the little symbols. Next slide. Now, when we select blood for transfusion, when we have special cases that come from Cleveland Clinic University saying help, we have a patient and we cannot find a match for blood. Can you help us? Our reference lab will screen the units that we do have to see if we can find. We have to identify the antibody that the patient has. So in identifying the antibody, we then have to identify red cell units that do not have the antigen to that antibody. Next slide. So we maintain an inventory of rare units. That inventory is used by sickle cell patients, patients in renal failure. We get calls for transplant surgeries, bleeding ulcers, joint surgery, and traumas. So needless to say, our reference lab is pretty busy. And we are there for you. Just call us. Now, why is this important? There are Some more alphabet. We have U negative, FY, RZ. RZ is not a rap song. JKA and JKB. PP1, PK, alphabet soup. But guess what? That is red blood cell antigens. Out there, they've been identified, they've been named, we can test for them, we can screen for them. Next. The reference lab supports the transfusion needs for approximately 50 children in our local area who have sickle cell disease, and each child requires 6 to 8 units per month. So, they have shelves in the back. They have a list of kids. So as we are fortunate enough to identify a donor who's antigen negative, we set those units aside. And when the need comes in, we have that blood available. But it's not often that we get enough blood that we can set aside for all the kids that are in need, kids and adults. The available blood donors should reflect the needs of the patient population. And currently we do not. It is important to have a good supply of blood screened for African American and Hispanic markers. Only 4% of all my brothers and sisters in northern Ohio, and that spans 19 counties, not just Cuyahoga County, only 4% donate. And this is where we need you. We need to get the word out. We need to tell somebody it's okay to donate. You will not get sick from donating. You will not catch a disease from donating. And why we need you to donate. Now, Robin Grimes is the reference laboratory manager, and she was not able to be with us today. She is a very educated, affluent woman that can speak to all that alphabet that was up there. But the other hat that I wear, I'm Arthurene Cardwell, the quality manager for the American Red Cross. But outside of here, as a community member, I am Elder Cardwell at Greater Love. And we understand as a believer what the power of the blood is. We all rest in it, we all rely on it, right? So, we know that there's only one blood that can be distributed to everybody. And it's not type O. That's the blood of Christ, right? Applies to all. But however, here we are. We have an issue. After we apply the blood of Christ, now we need to roll up our sleeve and get involved. We are blessed to be a blessing. So to hear the stories of the lives that these people live, it's painful. I'm touched. And the main thing we want you to take away today is what can you do to help? Amen. That's why we're here. We're here to get the word out. So now you've seen with your eyes. We've ate in fellowship together, which means we're in covenant. Gotcha. Gotcha. So we have to get this word out. And we need each one of you. Now, if we can spread the word in every congregation that's represented here, look at what we can do for our community. We can change that 4%. So that will not be our testimony as a community. Thank you.